It's Pack the Brew. We got a big guest joining us today. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey, what's up? I'm Chad Patrick, right-handed pitcher.
Put you on the spot there. That's
Yeah.
all right. Since it just happened this morning, we're gonna start with the trade question. Caleb Durbin's going to the Red Sox. How do you personally feel about that one?
It's kind of crazy how things happen. Me and him were just doing, running around Milwaukee and Green Bay together. Went to a Bucks game, and those things kind of just happen out of nowhere. And I wish him best of luck. I know he's gonna have a good time over there. So
What's that like from a player's perspective to like be really close with a guy and then all of a sudden he's dished to a different org? Like that can't be an easy thing to deal with.
yeah, it's happened to me a couple times now where you know it just you're taken away from a bunch of relationships that you've created with organizations, coaches, and stuff like that. So those are things you definitely think about when you're getting traded. But I know he really enjoyed Milwaukee, and he really embraced the opportunity that he was given, and he ran with it. And he's a good ball player. So
Yeah, I know Gage and I've seen plenty of Brewer fans are kind of sad over losing Durbin. And while you guys were at that Bucks game, that was the same night Freddie got traded, also, correct?
yeah, yeah. Honestly, we saw Murph there, and he said something was going to go down. So he also told Durbin that he wasn't going to be the smallest kid on the team anymore. So I thought that was kind of funny. So, but yeah, it's just that's how the baseball world is, man. You just all these guys are just up to something, and when it happens, it happens.
That's such a Murphy way to break that to somebody too, to be like, hey man, guess what? Like it's bad news, but there's really great news here too. Like you're not gonna be the smallest guy anymore. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, he's one of a kind. He's definitely. I think he could have his own comedy show. So.
Just this offseason alone, I mean, you've seen these guys being added to the starting mix, like Brandon Sproat coming from the Mets, like Kyle Harrison today from coming from Boston. You yourself are obviously in a great spot to make the starting rotation, but a lot of competition for you now for those 5 to 6 spots. Does that add extra pressure on you?
I don't think so. I think it it brings out more competitiveness. I guess is the right word. Obviously everyone wants to be in the rotation, but at the same time you got to go out and you got to do what you can do and what you can control. Even if you think you're deserving, or if you're not, you still got to take it a day at a time. Like um, I haven't got to know uh, Brandon. I've seen him a couple times, or he's in Arizona too. So, um, I'm definitely when we have conversations, they're going to be good conversations, and that's just kind of how the Brewers are. When they get a guy or a new pitcher or something, it's always awesome to go over there and introduce yourself to them because it's kind of like they're cloning people. It feels like everyone's kind of the same. So, um, yeah, once he gets more comfortable and stuff like that, I think it's going to be some good conversations there.
You mentioned getting ready to compete. How about this last postseason? What's it like to be a part of that pitching staff, as a rookie even?
Yeah, I think that was just an incredible moment. I felt like you know, it was like every time there was a big situation, get Patrick hot, and you just kind of just go out there and you just do your thing, and you trust your preparation, and I think preparation is key to everything. It's like I always use oh like you go out in front of a room with presentations.
Yeah.
Like I'm not good at presentations. I don't like talking in front of people. But as long as you prepare for the presentation that and you can give it, I think that goes hand in hand with baseball. if you know you've done the work throughout the week to prepare for that situation, then you're in good hands.
Having those bullpen duties in the postseason, that postseason obviously included 5 huge outs in that game 5 for you, and that strikeout of Ian Happ to end the 6th inning got you extremely hyped. I loved it. Big moment. Was that the biggest out of your baseball life?
Yeah, I think that's the first time I've ever really shown like a scream or a yell like that. Kind of just like my whole body went numb when I knew he was taking it the whole way I threw it because it was on the backside. I think I was screaming before Contreras even caught the ball, uh, because it's that big of a situation, especially when it's against you know a team that I grew up cheering for, and like for me to be like on the other side of that, it was just an even bigger moment, and I f- I felt numb.
That's such a good way to put it too, because I think that all of the Brewers fans in that spot were like in the exact same moment that you were. Like Ryan and I watched that game together, and we were like, "Oh, here it goes! Like this
Yeah.
is it. This is the big spot." What was going through your head as you build your way up to that moment?
Yeah, what was it? First and second, Suzuki was up. Um, Honestly, he was just trying to. I was trying to get a double play um, in that inning, in that spot, and I left the cutter up a little bit, and he's seen me pretty well the whole year. I had my strikeouts against him. He had his homer. He's hit a couple hard balls off me. But when you're getting ready for that situation, you got Gavin Adcock on the surround sound coming in, and I think that song kind of lights a fire in me just because like he's a country boy, and um, like where I'm from, that's just how it is from where I'm from, and just I think the adrenaline just takes over in that situation. You just try to come in and make big pitches.
And then on the other side of that postseason, that game 4 of the NLCS, you yourself pitched really well, retiring 12 of the 13 batters in that game 4. Unfortunately, the one you didn't retire, you were another victim of Shohei Ohtani in that game. When you see someone like Ohtani step up to the plate, someone as great as him, does it feel any different than a normal at bat for you?
It didn't feel different until I never saw that baseball again. Like though when I heard it hit the bat, it was like one of those things where you're just like, That's gone." Like you just don't even watch it. Like I just remember not even looking back, kicking some dirt around, asking for a new baseball, and just walking through the center of the mound and screaming. But like at the same time, I didn't necessarily give in to him. It was one of those pitches where gotten every person I've ever faced out on a rollover to first base on a cutter in, and he just he's one of that's why he's the best man. He just kept his hands in, and um, I'm pretty disappointed that they hung the plaque up and didn't say who it was off of. But may, maybe I'll go take a picture by it and whatever.
I was gonna say we might have to go send a guy to inscribe it for you,
No,
just to
yeah.
throw your name up there. Was that what you would qualify as your welcome to the big leagues moment, or was there one prior to that?
Um, you know what? In my debut, I mean, I gave up a home run. That was one of those games that I knew I was getting in, just the way it was going. Um, Oswaldo Peraza hits working on a slider, and I throw it in my debut, and he hits it out, and I guess that was necessarily like my welcome to the show type of moment.
Yeah, that was a tough series. After those first 4 games of the year, you don't know even what your role is at that point of the season. Was there a belief like, we're still fine, we can still do what we need to do this year as a team?
Yeah, I think that's what made the season so special is just there's never a panic button in the locker room. It was always just, everybody just trying to grind through what they're going through and stay positive in the same situation. So, you know, unfortunately, like when they went on the big winning streak, I thought I was the problem because I was down in AAA when it was
Mhm.
happening. And I'm like, oh crap, and then I come back up and I pitched the game and I think it I we lost and I lost the losing or the winning streak. And I was like, I'm just bad luck, man.
Yeah.
One of those situations where you don't want to think like that, but it felt that way. But at the same time, everybody in that clubhouse was they're all confident in what they can do and what they work hard to do.
When we talked to Rob, he said the same thing. He's like, I can't believe that this is my issue because he was down for the streak as well. I would you say that that belief is what really fueled that turnaround? We watched this team kind of really roll in slowly to the beginning of the year, then end up being division champions, and then take down the team from down south. Was that really what fueled that?
Yeah, you know, I I'm starting to get acclimated to, like what goes on in Milwaukee, and the thing is with the Brewers is they're always they're always doubted. You know, it it seems that way every year. They're always like the team that no one thinks about, or like they're not good, and then all of a sudden you're looking back and you're like they're 4 games back. And then they just start creeping. They're creeping. Now they're 6 games above in the Central. So um, I just think that you can never doubt any team out of anything because that's just how quick things turn around in baseball.
Even down 3-0 in the NLCS, I'll tell you personally that I still believe that the team could still go and win the pennant. I maybe delusion, maybe not, but did you guys fully believe you could still go and win 4 straight?
Yeah, I think we had that type of confidence. Just so happens, that the Dodgers have really good pitching, and you can't overlook that either. There's just big pitches and big situations that they made throughout the series, and you know it's hard. It is really hard to go out there and be perfect every inning as a pitcher, and I felt like they just did that series.
From a fan's perspective, while we were talking about the Dodgers, I figured I'd ask you, how crazy was Yoshinobu Yamamoto doing what he did in the World Series to win World Series MVP? Like, to come in on that short of rest, does that, like, it's crazy to me and Ryan that watch baseball routinely, but as a pitcher, like, can you even put it into words how wild that is?
Yeah, I definitely would be hurting the next day. I because he pitched Game 6, correct?
I think so, yep.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds right.
Um, yeah, you can't even like to put into words like what he was probably feeling that next day. But he has an incredible routine of how he does things. I was very fortunate enough to just be roaming the outfield in Dodger Stadium when he was going through his routine, and it's pretty precise. He throws this arrow thing like 100 yards, and we actually just got him today because we're kind of like messing around with it, and I couldn't even get it 10 yards. Cause that just shows you like how precise his program is and how well his training is.
Yeah, I guess the better question would be, is there enough ibuprofen in this world for you to end up pitching that next day?
I'm sure they'd figure something out. Go to the training staff, see the doctor, see what they can do for you, and make sure you're on the training table getting worked on and stuff. So
When we had your teammate Rob Z on, he told us how him and Isaac Collins were kind of just chilling in the clubhouse, and he mentioned how on MLB Network in August he was a Rookie of the Year candidate, and how Isaac Collins just didn't really care. For you in June, there were some talks of you in the same position, kind of. Was that ever something you noticed or cared about?
Oh, I heard it from my family. Like I have, I got three sisters and a brother, and um, mom, dad, and stuff. And you know, I tell them all the time, I'm like, hey, like you guys don't gotta tell me. Like I see it, and I'm not gonna play blind to anything. You see things, and you just try to stay the same person. Was there a thought that I could win it? Of course. But at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about the Milwaukee Brewers, and it's about winning baseball games. So that's what goes into that.
Rob said the same thing of you guys see everything that's on social media, period. Not even like in the news. Can you just like double confirm that that's the right thing? Because it really went a long way when Rob said it, and it's the same deal. Like I just want to hear from you as well. Like you see everything, correct?
Yeah, no. It's like weird. I don't know if it's like they just know that I play for the Brewers or what, but I get like every like I go on X all the time, and I get everything that's Milwaukee based. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because it's about to be baseball season again, but it's weird. It's a weird thing, and I don't really like it. So
Rob mentioned how he deletes social media like 30 times a season just because he doesn't want to see his teammates get kind of trashed, and that when his teammates get trashed, it pisses him off more than when he sees himself get kind of trashed on social media. Is that the same for you?
I don't delete it, but I do think it's funny when like some guys will get on there and they'll just be like, send this guy back to AAA after one bad outing, or um, there's a guy that always says, "Get ready to learn Nashville" or something like that. um, it's like you gotta take it one step at a time, and I understand that you know you want the Brewers to win every game. Like you want the team to go 162-0, and it's impossible. I don't know if a team ever will go 162-0, but I, like I try to stay away from it. But like I'll scroll, and I'll see something, I'll be like, whatever, you know. But I'm in good spirits, man. So I'm never gonna be mad at someone who's upset about a loss,
I'll tack on
because I
one.
because
Oh,
because
sorry.
I'm super competitive,
Mhm.
and I get your guys' side too.
As I say, I'll tack on one more here. I'll make myself the victim here. How many attempts do you think it would take me? Like I played high school baseball, I was not good. How many attempts would it take me to get a hit off of you? Like a solid like base knock up the middle. Not like some blooper that falls in between second and right.
Um, I don't wanna really answer that. Just because I don't want my ego to be this high and be like, you could
No,
never
you're
get a
good.
hit off me. Um,
Right.
I do personally think that, because I have friends that always say that they want to like get a hit off me, and they want to
Yeah.
face me. Oh, give me 10 tries for $100, and if I get a hit, type of stuff. Um, so I try to like, I'm like, dude, you're not gonna hit off me. It's really hard. I personally don't even want to face myself.
Right.
That's just how hard it is to hit in the league.
When
But
you Oh, sorry, go on.
I will say that you could probably make some contact. I don't know about it. I don't know about
That's a
up the
win.
middle.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If I followed one off, if I looked at a cutter and I followed one off, I'd be like, bang, like we won,
Yeah.
we won. If I even like pull one down the right field line, like a little dribbler that
Oh
like they
yeah,
have to duck
yeah.
out of the way of, dude, I'd be thrilled. I'd pimp it. I'd literally Jose Bautista that thing. I'd literally do it. Yeah, I'd pimp it.
When you yourself, to quote it, got ready to learn Nashville in July when you got sent down, how did that affect you mentally?
That's what I love about baseball. It's a mental game, and you know I could have gone down there and been the worst teammate possible, and um, looked at these guys and said, "I'm way better than you. Like, why am I here?" But I'm not that person to go down there and do that. I think mentally, when it first hit me, I it was like the start after um, Miami. That Saturday, I knew I was getting sent down. I had a gut feeling, and it ended up happening. Um, you drink your sorrows away the one night, and then the next you move on. Spent the day on the beach. I got to go to my mom's for a couple days. She lives in South Carolina, and drove up to Durham. Worst place to pitch at. I give up every home run there to Bobby Seymour, who's in Japan or playing overseas now, I think. Um, but yeah, it's just mentally you try to think about the positives and what you accomplished, and how can I come down here and get better. And I was working on a slider, which felt like for 7 months, man. So I actually that's what I brought to the table down there. Is like, hey, I got to get this right. Um, Justin Message, who is now the pitching coach for the Giants, he ended up showing me like a nice slider grip, and when I got called back up uh, and faced the Cubs, um, I used it. And I remember in my post game interview, I was talking about how I used it, and then I got on Twitter and I saw someone said, "Oh, we're just learning the pitch and we're gonna use it now." And I was like, bro, it's good enough to be it's a good enough pitch to be even better, you know. But it was my all time struggle the whole year was just learning that pitch, and I ended up using it a lot in the playoffs, and it was actually really good. So, but yeah, mentally, I think that the brain can play a lot of tricks on you. It can make your ego so high or it can make you so low, but you have to find that center point of how you going to do this? What are we going to do about this? Where are you going to go? Type of thing. So,
We asked our fans a couple of questions. We'll get to those like after Ryan and I shoot all of ours off. But one of them asked, "How do you feel about being the Cutter King?" So I figured that I would toss that one in here now because it fits well.
uh, yeah, that pitch supposed to be a sweeper, man. And then I throw everything hard. Like my fastball is, mid 90s, and like all my other stuff's hard. Like my changeup's like 89. And then the cutter's 89. So it's like I couldn't figure out how to make it a sweeper. So, and then they ended up telling me that it's this amphibious cutter and that it's not natural because it's got so much ride this way and it's moving so much that way. And I actually chose 39 because of that. Um, because Corbin was uh, he's a cutter guy, and
Yep.
so I went in there and asked for 39, and our equipment guy, Schauger, was like, "You're gonna have to live up to this name," and I'm like, "I'm going to," and you gotta embrace it. So I enjoy throwing cutters. Like I think they're fun. So
I like that. I was gonna ask if you tuck 39 to kind of be like Corbin Burns, but I guess you just answered that. So I
Yeah.
love that. I was gonna ask you, is there any your top three pitches are obviously variations of fastballs, and you mentioned the slider. Are you going to be attempting to throw the slider more consistently this year, or maybe even mixing that changeup a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. The slider's gonna play well. Um, just some of the swings I was getting against the Dodgers was like, whoa, you know, I'm out here in game four and I'm throwing that and I'm getting those swings. Um, it's gonna help because when they get a scouting report on me, it's this guy throws a lot of cutters. And if I can get something going down, it's really hard to play those games, you know. A lot of guessing in there. So you just gotta pick and choose your battles of, when to throw them. Um, I'm ho- I'm really hoping that the changeup usage goes up a little bit this year. Um, it didn't seem to be doing its job last year. Um, I got in some big situations, got some double play balls, but I'd like to use it a little bit more. So you can expect a 5 pitch mix from me, um, but we have to figure out the balance of how we're going to use things.
Right?
Which
How
Contreras does a great job of calling a game, and I don't know who our backup will be just yet. So
has
I think
Contreras
go
has
ahead.
Contreras pulled anything that he did with Rob, where you've been in the scenario and you just kind of got to trust the guy?
Oh yeah, dude. If you ever watch Contreras, if you miss a spot, man, he lets you know. He throws that thing 100 miles an hour back at you, and you're like, he's kind of giving him a grin. You're like, I know, I'm trying, and he's one of those catchers, man. He lets you know when he's upset with you, and uh, that's kind of the transparency of the relationship um, that I've personally developed with him. Is um, he's an awesome guy and awesome to be around. So I kind of embrace when he's throwing the ball 100 miles an hour back at me. I give him a little grin. So
I mean, not that you have a personal catcher, but if it's Contreras, or you can correct me if I'm wrong here, if you got to pitch with Eric Haas or Danny Jansen backing you up there, was there a difference? Does it feel like the game is called a little different between catchers?
um, not necessarily. I felt really. Obviously, I had Haas down in AAA early on until he got called up. So like for me to have my first big league start, it was with him. So I feel really comfortable. You know, I felt really comfortable throwing to him, and then more as the season went on, I was throwing to Contreras more, and it just became a better relationship with him too. So you have your relationships with your catchers. Personally, I like being friends with them too. I think it just helps. Like when you're on the mound, like you just you don't have any problem talking about why you didn't like a certain pitch in a certain situation, or you have no problem shaking if you want something else and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned earlier that you have a place where you're not a fan of pitching. Do you have a favorite place that's to pitch that's not Milwaukee?
Favorite place that's not Milwaukee?
Yes, sir.
I really I enjoyed um I enjoyed pitching in Philly. I thought that was it's kind of hostile there and stuff. But I really enjoyed being there and pitching there. And it was I mean, maybe it was just because we won like 17 to whatever. I don't even remember the score. Um, I know when I left, it was 17-3. I think it ended up being like 17-9. Um, but that's a good place to pitch. Um, I'm trying to think where else I pitch. Chicago. I'm not a big fan of St. Louis. Um,
Is there any reason?
no, I don't know. I just weird. It's kind of weird vibes there.
Okay.
I just
Yeah.
the backdrop. I think the
Yeah.
backdrop gets me a little bit. It feels flat, you know.
I think that
Um,
shadow's a little funky, no?
I don't. I didn't even notice there was a shadow. Both times I pitched, it was at night.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
So
I
yeah,
Yeah, I know that during the day games there's like if you have to like sit in a certain spot because the sun like just drills you, and I would
yeah,
just assume that the shadows just get pretty gnarly over there in turn.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I can't remember. I'm trying to think of the shadows, but yeah,
Largely based on vibes.
yeah. I'm a viber. That's what I am.
Dude, absolutely love it.
I love trying. I just love trying to be, like the teammate that everyone can, come up to, and they know they're gonna get a laugh out of me, uh, or I can go up to someone's locker and say hi to them, and then 2 seconds later they're just laughing because I'm just standing there waiting to talk to them or something like that. I like to be the goofball, because I just know how to take it. When I get crap from these guys, it's pretty fun. So,
You got any stories about that from inside the clubhouse that won't get you in too much trouble?
what you looking for?
Anything. Shoot.
Man. Um, n- I don't necessarily have like stories. I'm not a very good storyteller. Um, but I do I do enjoy Rob. I love Rob. Rob is the funniest teammate I've ever had. Um, he d- he's one of those people that, like, if you need to laugh, you're going to talk to Rob because he's just got this personality to him that's so sarcastic. I'm big on sarcasm, um, and he's like the best person for it. But I don't have any stories. I can't even think of any right now. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We kind of picked that up from talking to Rob. Like that hour was just it was crazy that he
He had a
like took the
lot.
time. And his
Yeah,
tweets are he's a good Twitter guy. Like, dude,
yeah,
he's got the internet on lock. The last one when he got announced for the WBC, there was a guy that like they flipped his camera around. I'm sure you saw that too. And they were like,
yeah,
he's like, "Yep, glad he knows that information." Like I'm sure
yeah.
that
It's
that was something he
Sidney
really didn't
Crosby.
have. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Quinn Priester one. He's awesome, man. Quinn's awesome. But that was a funny tweet. It made it all the way to MLB Network and stuff.
That was so stupid. I tweeted that thinking it was going to get 3 likes, and it ends up with Quinn replying to me on MLB Network. I was like, just blown away. It's the stupidest tweets that will go and get any kind of
Right?
attention like that.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious though.
I
Quinn's awesome people, man. You guys should have him on here sometime. He'll give you a couple stories.
Dude, it was
I know that for
awesome.
sure.
I got that text that he was going to send out. Like it was sometimes Ryan does that where he'll send me texts and then he'll tweet it out. And it's just like it's what's going on in the head. And I got that one before and I was like, oh yeah, like typical text that I'm gonna get on like a random Friday. Like that makes a lot of sense. And then it like banged and it just kept going. And then he's like, bro, he's like, Priester replied to me. And I'm like, that's insane. And then they made a graphic out of it on the Brewers socials, and then that blew it up more. That was so
Yeah.
funny to be a part of it. When I was doing my research, you could swing a stick in high school. Like you had 1,000 OPS, you almost hit 400 your junior and senior year. Do you miss swinging a bat at all?
No.
No.
No, I was messing with my golf game too much. So,
Mm.
ah, man, sometimes I do. I try to get pitchers VP all the time. Um, I got last time I ever got pitchers VP was in Double A with the Diamondbacks when I was in Amarillo. My swing was horrible, man. I went to a small high school, so competition wasn't, as good as it may seem. Um, but we went to semi-state, my junior and senior year, um, and we had awesome. I had a, we had an awesome team those 2 years, and um, I mean, I was one hit away from 100. Once I found that out, dude, I pressed the rest of the season. I was pressing, and I wanted that hit so bad, and I never got it. So
That's
I
so
that's
cool.
where I learned at 17, 18 years old that pressing is no good, like at all. Because when you want something so bad, you have to like take a step back and take like 5 or 7 deep breaths and be like, "You got this. You worked hard for it. Like, just relax." And I feel like it helps me on the mound with a good demeanor like that. So
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? When
yeah,
you said pressing, right, you're saying like pushing for a goal, like you want to get that hit so bad. Is that what you mean
yeah,
by pressing? Okay,
yeah.
that's kind of what I thought.
So is there ever a time where you just kind of can't shake that off? Like you're still just like, I need this, I want this, and it's just hurting your pitching?
I think you have to use it in a different way. Um, every start I have, it feels like that. I have before I go out and do like my warm ups and stuff. I have these moments where I'm about to throw up, and it's high anxiety, and I'm coughing, and everybody knows I'm pitching that day because they're like, "Dude, relax, like chill."
Yeah,
But I think the way I've learned is to use all this anxiety, emotions, um, the coughing, the gagging. I turn it into all this energy that I can just put on the field, and it's just weird to say it like that because you don't ever want to tell someone to relax when they're so excited for a moment. You don't want to because when you're telling someone to relax, it's basically like saying, like, take your energy level and bring it all the way down. You want to like keep that high energy level because then it just prepares you for that moment, and then you got to learn how to use it.
yeah, that's really interesting. Like it's crazy to hear that like that's how that goes, right? Like when I was growing up, like if I want to get fired up, I listen to music and like we push that energy and you do that. But to hear that, like you have to you like you know what's the word I'm looking for? Like keep that energy together and you ball it up and then you bring it when you're on the mound and you keep your composure more than most pitchers typically do. Like you said, the only time that you have like let her fly was after that huge strikeout and even then like that had the internet fired up. Like I was fired up after that
Yeah.
and like that moment I I'm saying all this to say like do you carry that Purdue, like, the Purdue University Northwest name? Like, you are the only one that has graduated from there to make it to the big leagues. Like, is there anything like a chip on your shoulder, or do you bring something like that because of the name and like where you come from?
uh, I personally think so. I graduated with 82 people in high school, and then you know, I'm this kid that just got nowhere to go, and had an opportunity to play in college. Always had it as a goal of mine to play in the big leagues. Um, when I was in the 8th grade, we were it was doing transfers over to high school, and you go in and see the counselor. Um, you know, I told her I wanted to be a professional baseball player, and it's kind of one of those situations like where you tell this poor kid, like, and break his heart and be like, all right, what's your plan B?
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like you felt like you were laughed in the face, but you know, you stick to your goals and you just keep pursuing and pushing. And um, when I went to Purdue Northwest, um, did I ever envision that I was going to make it to the big leagues from that school? maybe not, but maybe a little bit. And then after my freshman year, those thoughts kind of went away. They were like, my freshman year wasn't, the best freshman year. And then sophomore year came on. Um, I got a call from a guy in the Northwoods League, which you guys probably have heard of.
Yep.
I played up in Traverse City.
Midsummer's.
Josh Rebank called me and he said, "I want you to come play with me this summer." Um, Went up there. It was the inaugural year for this team, and the pitching that we had, it was just a clinic. The staff was just unbelievable. There's another name, Andrew Hoffman. He's with the D-backs now. Um, he was incredible that year. Evan Gates, he was with the Giants. I'm pretty sure he got picked up by a different team in the Rule 5. He signed as a free agent. There's a lot of guys that I play. Spencer Swallenbach, he was my shortstop, and now he's one of the best pitchers in the big leagues. So this guy was really good at finding talented people, and like to be able to say that my name's in there is special to me. And you know, go back to PNW, my sophomore year or junior year, I got all these scouts sitting behind the plate. I had no idea that they were there to watch me. And then after the game, my coach, uh, Dave Griffin, was like, "Hey, all them scouts were here to see you. Like, you're on the radar." And then my phone was blowing up after that year or during the season. They wanted to sit down and have meetings with me. Um, then COVID happened. I got an offer uh, from the White Sox, turned it down. I wanted to go back to school, and I just had the most incredible year after that. So, as far as pitching with a chip on my shoulder, of course, I'm trying to do. I was trying to do something that's never been done, um, and I've done that thus far. And it shows like kids from my hometown that I love so much. I'm from a small town and it's called Hebron, Indiana, and it just shows those kids how much hard work you have to do to be uh, as elite as you want to be, and it gives them to be hopeful and to go be great.
And you yourself, being a fourth rounder in 21, so you're still pretty highly regarded, even coming out of a pretty smaller school like that. Looking at Arizona, looking at Oakland, there were some good, some bad, especially with Oakland before coming over here. And then it felt like the Brewers kind of just completely fixed it with you winning International Pitcher of the Year. Not to completely give all credit to the Brewers org, but what did the Brewers do anything special for you to kind of, get you on the right track again?
Um, I'll just take you guys through the situation that was at hand. In 21, I got drafted. I didn't go out in season till the last 2 weeks of the season. It was in low A. The next year, I broke my wrist on a half field doing PFPs. I fell on concrete, tried to land the fall, broke my wrist. So I'm stuck in Arizona in the heat, miserable, um, just waiting to get out of here. And my hand won't heal. Uh, I think it took till the middle of August to get out of here. Went to low A for 2 weeks, went to high A for 5, went home. Everything's good, Um, Go back to spring training in 23, go to double A. We're in Midland. It's the trade deadline. I forgot it was the trade deadline. And I pitched in Midland, which is Oakland's double A spot. Pitched in Oakland 2 times that week. I pitched a Tuesday and I pitched a Sunday. And they scored like 1 run off me in 12 innings. And I was like, it was the last time we were going to Midland. I was like, let's get the F out of here. I don't ever want to go back to Midland, Texas ever in my life. Monday afternoon. Um, have you guys heard the hot dog thing about me?
We might have had a question for you to end it, but we'll let you explain it right now.
All right.
I'll shoot. How many hot dogs can you eat in one sitting?
Nah, I'm not a lover like that. It's two and done, bro.
And then I'll follow that up with, is it true that there's a song floating around about you and hot dogs?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is. Gotcha.
I might play it for you guys. But I want to say, when I was in Amarillo, I had a hot dog roller there too, and I ended up it was like the middle of the game, and I was rolling some hot dogs. We were losing bad, and the manager's like walking through, Sean Roof, and he looks at me and goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm eating a hot dog. You want one?" And he goes, "No, get the F back out of the dugout." I'm like, "All right." Next day, I was on the phone with the nutritionist. They were trying to get me right, and then we went to Midland. And I came back, and I usually just tell people that I got traded because I was eating too many hot dogs with the D-backs. So I think that's funny to say. But anyways, um, back to what I was talking about was so we go back and I'm having dinner. One of my buddies, Jordan Lawler, we were having like a birthday dinner for him. And I'm sitting there and I go, "Oh crap," and I'm like, I'm getting traded, boys." And I like go take the call. I come back in and I'm like, "I got traded." And I was like, "I'm going to Oakland." And they're like, "Oh, you going double A?" And I go, "I hope not. I want to go back to Midland." I went to Frisco, Texas, went down to Midland. Then we drove all the way to San Antonio and they called me up to Vegas, finished the year out there. And then went then the off season I was having dinner again and the A's GM calls me and he's like, "Hey man, just traded you to the Brewers." And I'm thinking in my head like, nobody wants me. Um like I'm just this guy that they're just tossing around the league now. Um but at the same time I'm thinking what a great opportunity because in 23 I lost my grandpa and then I got traded and like I didn't have the mindset for it. My grandpa was like one of my best friends and I talked to him every day and he was almost like he was like alive because of me type of situation. Um so basically, I'm like new set of eyes, restart, complete restart, get over here with the Brewers and it was just Nick Childs met with him. Jeremy Accardo, he was a triple A pitching coach who's now at ASU. Um, and then didn't know much about Hookie and Jim then. Just was introduced to them as the big league coaches. So here I am, not knowing where I'm going. They sent me to Double A. I pitch in an expedition game. Mind you, I flew home to grab my vehicle, which is in Indiana, and I drove right down 65 past Nashville to Biloxi. I pitched that game. Next day, they come find me. They're like, I was there for a total of 4 days. Next day, they come find me, and they're like, "Hey, you're going to Nashville." I'm like, "Thanks. Could have saved me 700 miles on my truck." So I knew that this was just, a great opportunity to embrace it. And I think it was just mainly, you know, the coaches just allowing me to be me and not pressing you to do something else. And I think that's what Jeremy Accardo just does a great job of. He's a player's coach, like someone who you can be vulnerable with, and he's just that's just going to stay between you guys type of thing. So I think that helps. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
No,
I
it
know it
did.
was a long
absolutely.
answer, long version.
I love the full story Zalon version like that. So no, that exceeded my expectations. So I love that.
Yeah, the Laura Chad Patrick right there, all
Yeah.
in one video setting. Bang. I got some questions from some fans that I mentioned earlier. What song are you putting on to hit a max bench press?
Dude, I don't even think I've ever hit a max bench press.
Really?
Um, I'll probably put on. I don't listen to heavy metal. But a good person to go find for that would be Trevor McGill.
Yeah, the
Seem
Four Horsemen.
maybe I'm putting his walkout song on. I mean, that thing's electric when he's running in, so it'd probably be his song.
Yeah, since joining Milwaukee, what's one part of your pitching that you think has matured the most?
Um, just I think just growing into who I am as a pitcher. Not gonna overwhelm you with you know all these velo lovers. But I am gonna
Velo.
I am gonna show you like that I'm a competitive person, and I think that that shows every time I go out on the mound.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's the most intimidating teammate you've pitched in front of and why?
uh, how would I mean Woodruff, bro.
Yeah,
I think as a young kid last year, and like now I talk to Woodruff as a friend, but I didn't know much about him because the story of me breaking with the team is actually crazy. But just like wanting to impress Brandon Woodruff is something that you know, as a kid or um, uh, a teenager, you're just like, who am I gonna ever meet? And and then you meet him, and you're like, whoa, you know,
yeah.
it's Brandon Woodruff. How am I gonna impress him now? You know.
It, it,
He's got the beard, man. It gets intimidating sometimes, especially when he lets it grow out.
dude,
But
it's
he's the
funny.
nicest person I could ever meet.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy that you guys you guys are just like us, basically. So many people that I've talked to because of this show have been like, "Oh yeah, like what are they like?" I'm like, "Dude, they're literally just like us. Like they have people that they love too. Like before
mhm,
they were pitching in baseball, like they obviously love the sport. They've watched it for as long as they've been around. Like to hear that you guys were like, "Whoa, that's Woodruff." Like that's so
yeah,
funny to me because when I've met players, it's been like, "Whoa, like
yeah.
you're this guy that I've watched my entire life." When Brawny came through for the All Star thing, like that was the first time I'd met Braun, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Mhm.
Like I was shocked. I was shell shocked.
Yeah.
Uh, what's your
Even so, like when you meet a different person in the baseball game too, it's like when you're not on the field, your heart races a little bit. It gets a little, you're a little nervous to be like, hey, how's it going?
yeah
You just don't really know how to approach that situation because you know who they are,
yeah
and it's just like, how do I say hi now?
yeah
It's
absolutely
getting over that edge because you don't want to bother them at the same time. But I don't. I think just saying hi or what's up to someone that you think is a celebrity or whatever. I think it's appropriate. So
right. Have you gotten like really starstruck where you've gotten like tripped over your words, or is that not?
no, I've gotten way better with it. Last year when I was in big league camp, I never talked to Yelich in my life. I think I passed him 4 times and we did like head nods every time. And then I
Yeah
finally just like I was like, this is so dumb. Hey, Christian, I'm Chad. You're Christian. Okay, now we can talk.
yeah.
Instead of just doing the head nods, walking past each other. So I thought that was funny.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do in the bullpen to have fun slash waste time with the boys? He followed it up with, "Are there any special antics you guys have?"
Um,
You can go as deep as you want to go on this one. If it's surface level, it's chill.
I mean, I didn't have a seat in the bullpen. They threw me out in the
Yeah,
bleacher. Like, there's a bench on the inside. I didn't. They got their seats labeled in there, so I will say like they got their seats, but there's not really anything that goes on down in the bullpen that's like special besides when um we're scoring runs and you get caught in the bathroom, you're staying in the bathroom. So I think
Is
that's
that like a
pretty funny.
well-known rule of you guys? Like,
I I mean, I try to avoid going to the bathroom when we're hitting. I got caught in there one time, and it was against the Cubs. Someone hit a homer. Might have been Vaughn's homer or something like that, and I was like, "Ah," screaming, banging on
yeah.
the door, So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Any players inside the clubhouse, like from your insider info, I guess that they think you've got any player inside the clubhouse fans should watch out for this season.
In fantasy,
No, no, like and in I guess just to be on top of it. If you want to go fantasy, go for it.
no. Repeat your question. There's a word I'm missing.
Is there any player inside the clubhouse fans should watch out for this season?
Oh, to be like be a
Be a
stud.
stud.
um, seems to me like at some point, I I would assume I'm not the GM, but that Jet Williams probably going to get a shot here. I mean, I think Churio is gonna be legit this year.
Yeah,
I think I think he might do 30-30 this year. So
dude, it's so great to hear that.
that's what I think.
That makes
You
us
know,
so fired up. Ryan and I have both had this conversation so many times of like, dude, this is the year, 30-30, like right here. And
yeah.
then finally we got a reply from somebody that I believe is you would know pretty well. Taylor asks, "Who's your favorite sibling?"
uh, they're all my
You don't get
favorite.
it. I was gonna say,
Uh,
good answer, good answer.
you
Dance
know,
around
I
it.
they give me they give me extra life because they all have kids, and when I go home, I spend a lot of time with them, or at least try to. My one sister lives pretty far, or like 20-25, but it's like the other way.
Yeah,
So sometimes I feel a little bad because I don't see her daughter as much. Um, but she's about to have twins, so that's gonna be pretty crazy. A lot more fans then, but yeah, I got to go with all of them. They're all pretty special in their own way for me. So
yeah, great answer, great answer.
Two of the guys you just mentioned, Churrio was one of the top prospects in baseball. Jet Williams is a big name, obviously the headliner in the Freddie trade. Is there any player on this team that you feel like just doesn't get the recognition they deserve, like these other guys, like Yelich and Churrio?
trying to think who we got, man. Trading everybody away. You know what? I I think Jake Bowers, his veteran presence, um, his just hit when you talk to him, he has great advice. He's super chill and laid back, and he'll give you shit, but at the same time, he's very um, he's a very humbling person to talk to because he allows I'm looking for a word, man. He gets it, you know. He understands who he's talking to in that moment, and the way the run he was kind of one of our better hitters there at the end of the season. That kind of describes who he is. He's a dog. He fights for his spots. Like, guy comes in, he's not even on the 40 to start the year, and now the Brewers got to make a decision for him uh, to make a roster spot for him, and I think that just describes who Jake Bowers is.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, you got anything else? You out of
I
them?
do. I do. Uh, we, we, Gage and I both believe the Brewers still have a great shot to win the World Series this year. Obviously, the Dodgers are the Dodgers, but do you also believe the team has a good shot?
Yeah, I think every year you gotta believe that, right? You can't go in doubting doubting when you're 0-0 to start the year. Um, we'll see what other things happen in the next couple weeks. Uh, I would have to imagine that something's gonna happen, but if nothing happens, I still love that how young we are and how well we mesh, and I think our lineup is still dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to another one. As always, you can find us anywhere you find your podcast. Which look at me.
I thought you had a euchre question.
Oh, I guess that's it. Yeah, we wrapped it up with Rob the same way. You didn't necessarily get to meet Uke and do all that, but can you talk about the impact he had on this team?
Yeah, I didn't even get to meet him. Uh, it's kind of weird that you asked that question because the day that they honored Euchre, I got called back up and I was starting that game, and like I thought that was very special for me because that was my way of knowing, what he meant to the organization, what he meant to fans, um, and it brought out the best in me, like of how well I wanted to pitch. I gave up the 2-run homer, but I I pitched really well that game and gave us a chance to win. I think we lost on the walk off or something like that. But I think pitching that game really uh, showed me, who Bob Uecker was. I'm pretty disappointed that I didn't get to meet him, but I know his legacy is always going to live on in Milwaukee. So I think I think he's a very special human.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. Yeah, 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to another one. As always, you can find us anywhere you find your podcast, anywhere you're on social media. Next time you buy from Banker Co., be sure to use code BACKTOPROOF15 for 15% off your next purchase. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to another one, and we will see you in the next episode.